Hey, what's going on, guys? DK. Back at you with another video here to ready the 3-game NBA main slate on Thursday. NBA, can we schedule the games out so we have like 7-8 game slates every single day instead of 13 game slate and then a 3-game slate the next day? That would be greatly appreciated. But yeah, if you guys are new to the channel, welcome. My name is DK. I make daily videos and live stream for NBA and NFL slates on Draftkings. Thursday Night Football, I have a video breaking down that slate. Make sure to check that one out, guys. Also, I'll be trying to do a live stream for that one as well. We'll see. I'll let you guys know. And if you guys are unable to watch the YouTube videos, I also upload on Apple Podcasts. Link in the description below. It's called the DKDFS Show. If you have a minute or two, if you could leave a 5-star rating and review, that would really help me out. If you're interested in signing up for premium content, I offer that on patreon.com. 3 different packages: NBA, NFL, and esports. And the sponsor of today's video is Prize Picks. So, Prize Picks is a player prop site where you can take over-under on fantasy points or over-under on straight-up points, assists, rebounds, three-pointers made. You can also mix and match sports. So, yeah, I like it. It's a nice change of pace because you're not playing against someone, you're just playing against the house. So, if you guys want to try it out, you can sign up using my code, DKDFS. It's DKDFS, all one word. You'll get a 100% match up to $100. You can see here, like, they even have fourth quarter contests. So, if you want to degen some fourth quarter contests, they have that too, right? Like, over under 12 fantasy points for Anthony Davis in the fourth quarter. So, yeah. And then I do want to thank you guys again for all of your support. Thank you. We had, I know I haven't been able to live stream a lot last week or so, but still had about 200 concurrent viewers in the live stream today. So really do appreciate you guys coming and checking out the live stream and showing support. Make sure, if you do enjoy, to hit the like button, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Okay, so before we talk about players and the prices for this 3-game slate, let's look back at my lineup here from tonight. So, tonight I went with Cade Cunningham, Levine, Barton, Giannis, Portis, Morris, Green, and Gordon. And I spent about 3 hours today with Greg Ehrenberg on DFS talking about how we thought that Ricky Rubio was not the best play, his ownership, right? Obviously, Ricky Rubio was a good play, but like he was, in our opinion, too popular, right? Too high owned. I much preferred Cade Cunningham at half the ownership, and they ended up both basically getting the same amount of fantasy points. So that was pretty funny. But yeah, Cade also got in foul trouble. Would have outscored Rubio if he didn't get in foul trouble. But yeah, I feel like the Popeyes meme of the worker on break, like with the head down, like that's like me after 3 hours of just like talking about how we thought Rubio was too popular, right? Too high owned, and therefore not that good to play in tournaments. But yes, I went to Cade over Rubio there for half the ownership. I'll make that play all day long. Again, they finished with the same fantasy points, which was funny. Levine was super popular. Like, I played a lot of chalk here. As you know, I'm a high stakes single entry player, so I'll play a good amount of the chalk. I ate a lot of the Denver chalk. I ate Levine chalk. I got different by going to Giannis is my spend up. Didn't really work out, but I knew it was suboptimal, right? I was just going there. I was really an ownership play for Giannis, right? I knew he's going to be like sub 10% owned on this slate. So I was like, why not? I'll roll the dice in a low on Giannis. And Pat Connaughton just took over in that fourth quarter. Also, was pretty tilting for Portis, who didn't play in the fourth quarter because Pat Connaughton was just going nuts. But yeah, that's really it for the look back, guys. And then going over the winning lineup, looks like the winning lineup is going to be this in the Thunderdome. So Rubio, popular, again, in my opinion, a little bit overowned on this slate, on the 13-game slate. But yeah, winning lineup had Rubio and Cade Cunningham together with Barton, Green, Valanciunas, Levine, Gordon, De'Aaron Fox. We finally got a breakup game from De'Aaron Fox. Also, finally, is NAW back now, guys? Like, I was getting a little bit worried there, but an absolute smash game from NAW. My best ball team is very appreciative of that. Let's see. Was there any other ownership I wanted to go over? JV, love JV, 50 or 62% of the high stakes, 50% or 50 fancy points. God, it's been a long day. Too much. I spent too much time on Twitter today. Twitter, I'm telling you, is not like, you do not want to be on Twitter all day. It affects your mental health. So yeah, that's all I got. Oh, a couple people asked me about my best ball team and how that's going. So again, this is the squad. I did a live stream. I basically just winged it. This is the $555 entry. But yeah, it's going really good this week. I'm in first. Ja, NAW, Durant, Sabonis, JV, Adams, Holmes is right now in. Wait, is that right? I feel like that's not right. Here, let me just go to the overall standings. View overall. So that's my team. And right now, overall, through what's it been, 3-4 weeks, I'm 200 points up to second place. So I have 3,563 points. Second place, 3,379. So I'm about 200 points up from second place, which is pretty good, right? I have a pretty big lead to the field. Again, NAW, massive game tonight, so I'm happy about that. But yeah, that's the update on best ball right now, going pretty good for myself. Oh, that's why I had it for week 1 here. I know. Whatever. Week 4? There we go. All right, that's the update for this week. Okay, I was like, that doesn't look right for those scores. But, all right, so let's talk about this 3-game slate. And let's see, do we have any Vegas odds out for this one yet? It doesn't look like it. So we'll start off with Toronto and Philadelphia. So Toronto, the big piece of news here is Siakam is not expected to play, which is pretty big news. Like that's a lot of minutes and usage to go around. So Siakam not expected to play. Kem Birch out. They're pretty thin on bigs. So I'll start with Precious Achiuwa, 4.2K. I think makes for a really solid value play. My assumption is he does start and probably plays 25 to 30 minutes. So I think he makes for a really, really solid value play. And I know everyone's going to want to play him, but like I don't know if they have any other options. I think they're going to have to play Boucher decent minutes. But man, they just never want to play this guy minutes. But like they have no other bigs, right? Besides Precious Achiuwa with Kem Birch out, like who else can they play, right? They have no one else. So you would think that Boucher is going to get some minutes, but man, again, they just hate playing him. If Chris Boucher does play the backup 5, and let's just say he plays like close to 20 minutes, he also becomes a really good value play because he's a great point per minute guy. I'll just mention it though, there's still no guarantee with his minutes because Toronto loves doing everything in the power to not play him basically any minutes. And then the guys at the top, so Van Fleet probably your safest bet. Like these guys are just playing big minutes. Van Fleet's playing around 40 minutes a game in competitive games. He's a guy that will handle the ball a decent amount. Averaging like 7 assists a game, decent rebounding guard. I think he makes for a pretty safe play in the slate. OG and Scotty Barnes at 7.6 and 6.6 here respectively, both firmly in play. Both going to get a pretty decent usage bump without Siakam. I think I would lean Barnes for the discount. Now the one thing I will say about Scotty Barnes, he had a good game tonight, but he's prone to foul trouble. So have that in the back of your mind. There's a chance he gets in some foul trouble if you do play him. And then, yeah, we were talking about the bigs. I'm probably not going to get to anyone else. Like Gary Trent at 5K doesn't really stand out. The bench guys, I'm probably not going to go there either. Moving on to Philly. So no Embiid, no Ben Simmons. We do have Tobias Harris and Seth Curry questionable. We'll see what Doc Rivers says about his rotation. If he says they're going to run 10 guys tonight, that means he's going to only play 6 guys. And if he says they're going to run a short rotation, he's going to empty the bench because Doc Rivers is a liar. And I'm still very tilted about that. But yeah, let's start with Tobias Harris. So 8.8K, he's questionable, possibly might return. So if he does return, I think he's a viable spend up. Obviously, him and Drummond probably the top options there in offense. So would be a decent play, but not a must for me. Drummond at 8.6, still feel like he's a little bit too cheap. I think he plays, close to 35 minutes, and he's just a great point per minute guy. 50 fancy points last couple games. So still like Drummond, even at that price point. Maxey, it kind of depends on Tobias Harris and Seth Curry. So he's been playing like 40 minutes a game last few games here. Really playing well. 42, 49 fancy points the last 2. So if there's no Seth Curry and Tobias Harris again, and Philly's basically going to run like a 7-man rotation, then yeah, sign me up for some Maxey. And then it's kind of the same thing with the rest of these guys, like Milton, Korkmaz, Niang, Green, Paul Reed. These guys all become pretty good plays because of a very short rotation if Tobias and Seth Curry are out. If they're both in, then they're all kind of secondary options for me. So that's just one. Obviously, we'll keep an eye on the news because last game, basically, Doc Rivers ran a 7-man rotation again. So no Tobias and no Seth Curry. You're definitely going to want some exposure to these Philadelphia guys. All right, Pacers and Jazz. So LeVert was a scratch tonight. We'll see if he's going to be available. Maybe it was just they're sitting him in the back-to-back. We'll see. If LeVert is out, then the top two guys in Brogdon and Sabonis are viable contrarian spend-ups. Neither would be a must-play, though, in a tough matchup against Utah. Both had a pretty good game tonight against the Denver Nuggets. You know, Sabonis went for 51 fancy points. I think Brogdon had like 46 fancy points. So both those guys definitely viable, but more GBP options. 7K for Miles Turner feels a little bit too pricey for me. And then it was interesting. They actually closed with T.J. McConnell over Duarte. So that makes, Duarte pretty risky. And, I'm not sure if they're going to close the McConnell every game. So I don't know if we get to, like, the secondary guys here for the Pacers. Like, Justin Holiday played big minutes. He played 35 minutes. But, like, 7 fancy points in 28 minutes, 11 and 35. It's just, God, he has been not good for point per minute. I'm moving on to Utah. So Donovan Mitchell, I think, makes for a pretty good spend-up in a good matchup on this side of the ball. Like, he'll play probably 35 minutes competitive game. So, I like some Donovan Mitchell. Pains me to say, but I do kind of like Rudy Gobert in the slate. 8K feels a little bit too cheap. He was 8.9K last slate, dropped about $1,000. So I think he plays, if he stays, he got in foul trouble last game too. If he stays out of foul trouble, should play 32 to 35 minutes. So I think Gobert makes a pretty safe play at his respective price. The rest of the Jazz are kind of just secondary options when they're fully healthy. Conley, secondary play. Bogdanovich is playable, but again, reliant on the scoring. Probably plays 30 to 32 minutes and gets you like 25 fancy points most nights. Clarkson, Ingles, again, secondary plays. O'Neal at 4 or 5, kind of came back down to earth last game. But I think he plays over 30 minutes. And then I'll mention Hassan Whiteside, too, because he's a good point per minute guy. He played a little bit more last game because of Gobert foul trouble. On a small slate, he's firmly in play because, again, he can go for like 25 fantasy points in 15 minutes. I don't think I get to anyone else, though, on Utah. And finally, Miami and the Clippers. So this is pretty big. Jimmy Butler got injured tonight, did not return ankle. So I don't think he plays. Also, did Bam Adebayo get... He was questionable. I don't know if he got banged up. I think it was just foul trouble tonight, actually. But, yeah, so if Jimmy is out, I don't think he plays, then this is big, right? Because then Bam Adebayo, Kyle Lowry, Tyler Hero all look like really, really good plays. Like Bam gets a usage bump. He's going to play like 35 minutes. Kyle Lowry's going to have to do a lot more on the offensive end. And then Tyler Hero as well. So, like, the three main Miami guys, if there's no Jimmy Butler, all look really, really good here. Even Duncan Robinson, viable. He probably plays around 30 minutes, even though he's reliant on the scoring. And then, Markieff Morris looks like he's still going to be out. So, like, they're thin if Jimmy's out, too. Like, PJ Tucker probably has to play, like, 30 minutes, which would make him playable. But you guys know PJ Tucker is a fantasy player, not the best point per minute guy. But, yeah, so, and then, like, maybe someone off the bench becomes viable. Like, maybe Gabe Vincent, maybe Caleb Martin. Like, who's going to play out the bench, right? If Jimmy Butler's out, the starting five, well, they started Hero in the second half. I'm trying to think, like, do they start Hero in this game tomorrow if Jimmy's out, or do they, like, move someone else in the starting lineup? But assuming they start what they did in the second half, it's going to be Bam, Lowry, Hero, Duncan, and PJ Tucker. So who's out off the bench, right? Dedmon will play the backup five off the bench, and it's like, all right, who else is going to be in the rotation, right? So probably Martin, probably Vincent. Maybe they dust off KZ Okpala. They don't have a lot of options. So, the Jimmy Butler news is pretty big, and right now I don't think he plays. And finally, the Clippers. So Paul George in a tougher matchup is, probably not a must-play for me, but he's playing big minutes to get a little bit of foul trouble last game. I think is still a viable option there at the top. Reggie Jackson continues to play big minutes as well, continues to get a ton of shot attempts up. 6.4K feels about right. Batum has shot the ball really well. My only concern is, like, I don't know if he continues to shoot this well, like 7 of 10, 5 of 7, 6 of 11, 7 of 9. So Batum, playable, probably plays around 30 minutes, might be a little bit over-owned. Zubac at 5.1K. Well, Ibaka actually got sent down to the G League, so possible more minutes here for a guy like Ivica Zubac. But again, not the best matchup there. Man, 4.8K, should play around 30 minutes off the bench. He's probably going to come in a little bit less ownership than Batum. So I might prefer Man in GPPs. Bledsoe's minutes went up too last game. He played 31. We know Eric Bledsoe, always a headache to roster, but I think on a small slate, he's someone you can at least consider. Kennard as well, like he played 26 minutes, had 5. This is what I say about Luke Kennard. Like, you can play Luke Kennard, but like this is the floor, right? He can go for like 5 fantasy points like he did last game. He can also go for 30 if he's hitting his shots. I can't tell you whether or not he's going to hit a shot. So Luke Kennard usually is someone I avoid. But like, yeah, if you're making a ton of lineups, you can always get Luke Kennard exposure, right? He can still go for 25 to 30 if he's hitting his shots. And then finally, as I mentioned, Serge Ibaka assigned to the G League. So that actually kind of solidifies Hartenstein as a pretty good value play. We know he's a good point per minute guy. I think he plays 15-ish, maybe a little bit more if there's Zubac foul trouble. So, I kind of like Isaiah Hartenstein there for value at only 3.4K. But that's going to do it for the video, guys. So if you have been enjoying the content, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. I'll be doing a YouTube live stream before lock, so make sure to check that one out, guys. Thanks again. Have a great night, and I will see you all tomorrow.